Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and back we travel to the magical land of WrestleMash. Have you missed us? It's been a couple of weeks. As always, we are here for an audio journey in which we dive into the previous week's AEW, and that was Quake by the Lake. Well, it was a show, I think was probably the best way to describe it. Happened last week. We had the return of the Lionheart, we had the return of the lineal champ, we had Beardhausen, we had mixed tags, we had a coffin match, and we had announcements for the trios tournament brackets. We also had Miro knocking the bitches back, of course. Nobody touches the Redeemer. And we had the debut of Parker Boudreaux. We've got a lot to get into, but first let me punt this wee podcast to you. AEW Mash is one of the many podcast parts which, when formed together, make the mega powers that is the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. You can find us across all social media and on all streaming platforms. Want to support the guys? You could buy us a coffee. We love that kind of stuff. But if you don't really want to, just leave us
5 stars, baby! Boom!
Yes, thank you very much. 5 stars on our podcast. Let people know that we're worth listening to. And that's really what we're all about. Bringing in the listeners. Hells yeah. So, who am I here with this week? Well, who else would turn up? God damn it. It's my two friends, Harvey and Mick. How are you doing, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Malady.
That was the best David Williams impression I've heard this week.
I'm going positively loopy in the heat.
It is very, very warm, aye. It is incredibly warm. We're currently dealing with a heat wave this weekend, like a few other this year. It's been a warm year.
It's been a year of heat waves, eh?
Aye. Not really keen on it, man. I'm a cold weather kind of creature. I really am. This is too much for me, man. I'm not want to wake up hungover just for drinking Coca-Cola the night before. And that's where we're at right now. Obviously, Harvey's a different script for you, man. You have AC. You're used to the kind of heat.
Aye. Aye. AC, so.
Wish we'd just get a shitty wee fan for B&M that recycles all that warm air right round about. It's quite a sensation, it really is. Oh fuck. Anyway, hey, AEW this week, Quake at the Lake. What did we think, lads? It was a show.
It was indeed it was a variety show, if you will.
It was a variety hour. Or a variety 2 hours.
It was quite the Dynamite was quite the mix of stuff.
It was quite the mix indeed. I mean, the first thing I want to talk to you, and I don't care if it's not really news, Nick Comoroto. What a look.
And
what a sexy big bastard. What in the hell is going on there with that man's outfit choice?
That was like straight out of like 2000 WWE. Like
it's quite ridiculous. I would go 2000 WCW, by the way.
To be fair,
absolutely
not.
Fuck.
The Godfather. Like it was like something the Godfather would have worn back in the day. I was trying to think of the guy's name. That was something.
Pimping ain't easy for the big man. It really ain't easy. He'll tell you that. The whole look is just. It's jarring, man. It's absolutely jarring.
He's like an absolute caveman that's just been dressed up for a laugh.
It's like, you remember that South Park episode where they all go mad for Queer Eye?
Aye.
And all the dads are dressing up in jazzy, furry clothes.
Yep.
That's how out there it is. Like Randy Marsh kicking about with the pink body warmer and all that one. Like that's what it's jeez. What? What is going on there?
It's interesting because it doesn't even really fit with the factory. Like it's just totally out there.
The rest of them have all got their young lion kind of joggy kind of clothes on, like as if they're
team tracksuits.
Like team wear sort of stuff and Ogogo obviously wears a suit. Fair enough. That's a wee bit out there as well. But I suppose it's because he's kind of
it kind of fits with his gimmick in a way.
But then you've got Comoroto just kicking about in the furry weird gear, sucking a lollipop like some sort of. I mean, wow. It's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe, man. So very interesting. But aside for that, I mean, that's me just talking stuff about I found funny. Main event, I think we better talk about first, lads. I mean, that's...
Aye.
It's definitely a worthwhile thing to talk about. We had the rematch of John Moxley and Chris Jericho. The Lionheart, Chris Jericho.
Yep. Last survivor of Stu Hart's dungeon.
Loved his yellow gear, I've got to say. Great homage.
Full of throwbacks, wasn't it?
His classic yellow Lionheart gear, his kind of older music, so on and so forth as well. Very, very well done in that sort of sense. Did I care about the Lionheart being the thing that he called out at the time? I wasn't that bothered about it, I've got to say, but I actually really enjoyed this match. Jericho certainly turned up with his wrestling boots on, man.
Yeah, I think Mox's promo where he's saying that like if he's going to have the match with Jericho, he wants the Lionheart. Like at the time, it was kind of like, see, if that was the first time they had done that sort of thing, that's all well and good, right? That would have been interesting. But because we've had like the Jericho's best hits or whatever you want to call it over the last few months,
Painmaker carry on.
It took something away from it. But once you actually get to the match, like you can see why they've went that route. It's probably Jericho's best match he's had in quite a while.
Aye, probably since the Eddie Kingston match. I would.
That first match that they had. It was very good. Different for his usual. I say his usual style. He's the style that he's been wrestling the last couple of years.
He's been more of a brawler, more of a brawler in AEW for a long time. So to see him break out holds and submissions and suplexes was. Yep. I felt like I was watching sort of Attitude Era Jericho back in the day when he was challenging for the Intercontinental title, like a lot more move heavy. Yep. In his work, and by Christ, they get through a lot of work. Like they really did. Crowd loved it.
It was a well put together match. I liked they went with that kind of decisive spot where, well, it wasn't a spot, I suppose, but they went with Jericho putting on the walls, and they did it through their ad break. So obviously, if you're watching it on Fight, you don't really get the same effect. But basically, like for the American audience and the general TV audience, I suppose it would be the same on ITV when it hits there. Jericho puts the walls on, he's holding it for 20-30 seconds, goes to an ad break for like 3+ minutes, comes back and he's still got the walls on. Whereas if you're watching it in Fight, you can see that the hold's been on the full time. So it's like, that's quite a risky thing today. Like the live crowd could turn on that, like what he's doing, you're like filling for time, but they like Mox sold it really well. Jericho did as well in a way, like the way he's showing like he can't believe that Mox isn't tapping yet, and like his grip's starting to fail and stuff like that. So like it was an interesting choice, I thought, but it was well worked.
There was a lowest spots in the match. I think that they go absolutely perfect. Although quite shocking that this is the first time the Judas Effect's ever been kicked out of.
That was interesting.
That got me because I thought, oh, nobody's kicked out of this. Surely no. Like, and then obviously he does.
Yep.
But major thumbs up for the whole match for me. Jericho seemed to take a hell of a ding in the corner as well, though, with that turnbuckle. I think he hit like the kind of head of the bolt. So he did. And it bust him. I mean, I felt like the match finished quicker because of that. I think there was a wee audible called there where they noticed Jericho's forehead and thought, oh, we need Sinte quicker. Like, I felt like it rushed at the end because of that. Because I mean, at the time, it was just like an innocuous kind of hit the exposed turnbuckle spot, and you thought, all right, fair enough, this is leading to the end now. And you just saw his forehead just opened. It was like floodgates, man. It was like the opening of a floodgate, man. Yep. Absolutely horrific amount of blood came out of him.
I didn't. My one negative for the match was that, for all, like, right, Mox is known as the big tough guy, and you want to make him look really strong going into his kind of mini feud, whatever you want to call it, with Punk that he's not going to have. So I get all that, but then to have Mox hang on so much and for so long, and not only the walls, but then the line tamer as well. And then have Jericho tap out quite quick.
Yeah.
That didn't sit quite right with me. Like I felt like that did Jericho dirty a wee bit.
Probably to an extent,
But-
I probably would.
I don't know.
Again, you wonder if it's a necessity of him finishing the match to
Possibly.
get checked on,
Aye.
and no actually the planned idea. It was a very bad cut on his forehead, man. Is it? Although back to keep talking about blood. Does Moxley go to the blood too much for you now? Because every match you've got Moxley bleeding.
Understand.
I don't think it goes to it
Is
too
he
much.
overdoing it?
But I think that it does it in matches where the match doesn't call for it. Like I think he could
Aye.
bleed every single match he's in if the story of the match
If it
calls
warrants
for it. That's a good word. If it warrants him bleeding, but especially in AEW, it really does. He's in the
Aye.
matches. Something they tend to be a wee bit more brutal. So especially when he's in GCW, like you totally get it. But I don't know. I suppose it depends on your taste.
That's the joys of wrestling, and it's all in kind of individual interpretation of what you like and what you don't like. But to kind of put a wee pin in this kind of discussion. Good match all round for both guys. Punk and Moxley looks like it could be a hell of a feud, potentially.
Could go a bit tits up.
You reckon?
Could they?
How so?
Well, because there isn't a clear babyface and clear heel.
Aye,
You have to think of the bigger picture. My assumption is that the closer we get to the fight, the more Mox will develop an attitude and be more heelish.
I think that's what you've seen already. I think that's why you've seen the kind of shove and the sort of
Aye.
the lack of respect showing Punk straight away
He
there.
shoves what's supposed to shoot at.
I just kind of barges past him.
Very similar to Eddie Kingston. Mox is like near and dear to the fans' heart. He is so over that even if he's acting heelish, the fans are still going to, or a certain section of the fans anyway, are still going to really be behind him and want him to win. And so they'll naturally start to get a bit miffed with Punk. So,
It's an interesting crossroads. You wonder who takes the heel hat,
yep,
whether it's Punk or whether it's Moxley.
yep.
You wonder where it goes, certainly. It's some reaction for Punk though, certainly, and he perhaps looks a bit more. I feel like he's got more weight on him.
I think he's probably been in the weight room while he's been.
He looks like he's beefed a wee bit. Like his shoulders and his arms and that looked a lot more sort of built than previous, like in his run before the injury. Like so, he's definitely been putting the work in while he's off. By the looks of it. But to move on, lads. Coffin match would be the next big kind of talking point of this week's episode. Destination, probably not my favourite destination. Not the way I wanted it to go. I kind of wanted Brody King to get the rub for this and get the win. The match itself, all the way through, wild. I mean, absolutely wild. It's about
That was a
time
wild
somebody
match.
finally took advantage of the House of Black entrance. I feel like that's been waiting to happen for ages.
Yep.
And of course, Darby is always a kind of crafty wee kind of
Aye.
shock tactics at a guy, so it makes sense that it's him. Well, if there's anybody
Does
going to
make
be
sense, yeah.
snapping a match into action to get an advantage, it's Darby. It works with him being that kind of guy. I don't know about the result of this though, lads.
I think that for me, the match was booked at the wrong time. I think that's the problem. Like I'm no mad at Darby winning it, especially being that it's a coffin match, and I love the way they finished it.
It was
The symbolism of it, like Darby getting him back with it, hanging him off the chain like
Hanging him.
that. So I'm up for that, but I think the problem is that's something that should really be a feud finisher. Like that should be it, done and by. But we're really just getting started with a kind of bigger feud that is House of Black and then Darby and Sting and Miro, which is making less and less sense, to be honest, having Miro as part of that.
I did like him telling Julia Hart to bolt in. Bolt! Don't
it was
touch
funny,
the
like.
goods. I don't think it was meant to be that funny though. I feel like that was much funnier than it should have been.
It was accidental humour, I think.
Bolt hen. Nobody touches the Redeemer. But the Redeemer's wife. Witch?
Wife, aye.
Whatever. Fucked that there.
Aye, so I don't know, mixed feelings with it. Like, I enjoyed the match. Sting coming out the coffin, I thought was like chef's kiss. That's just for the run that Sting's on. That was just perfect.
He'd been in there a while as well. At 60 odd years old.
He's got to have been very uncomfortable and really warm and stuff lying in there,
sitting in a stuffy wee coffin, man.
Smelling his own farts for an hour while he's waiting. His turn.
Hoping he's not going to drop one.
Oh Christ! But aye, no, it just seemed like this should maybe have been like on a Dynamite a couple of weeks after the pay-per-view, just to once and for all finish Darby versus Brody, rather than the thing that kind of leads into the mere sort of faction v faction stuff. I don't know.
I mean, that's definitely where it's going, is the pay-per-view match. They're going to be AEW, with every pay-per-view they've had so far, you have your matches, and then you have your random ridiculousness, which covers the whole arena, and everybody goes nuts for. I feel like this is the nominated shout for it this time. It's going to be Darby, Sting, Miro versus House of Black, and it's going to go everywhere.
If there's an AEW pay-per-view and there's a balcony in the building, Sting's going to jump off it.
Aye, Sting's going to float off it gracefully.
You might as well build a fun match round about the spot.
3 things in life are certain. He's going to jump off something. Shit, I mean, it'll be fun. No doubt it'll be fun. Aye. But again, build it. Yeah. Suppose you've got to have something for everybody. And Americans certainly still absolutely adore Sting. Like, there is never going to be a time they don't want to see Sting for some reason. Like, I feel like I'm not that bothered about Sting now at the age he is, and it's been great fun and that.
Aye.
But like, I get why folk love it. Folk love their nostalgia.
I don't miss him when he's no there, but at the same time, I tend to love everything he's involved in. So, I don't know.
He does have that sort of attraction sort of appeal to him. Like, it's purely, he's there as an attraction. Kind of by and large. Like, so I mean, it'll be a thing that happens on the pay-per-view. That's one thing to say about it. It'll be a thing. Right, trios. Who's going to take these belts off of Excalibur, Tony and JR? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bracket for the first number 1 contender to the commentators. No, not really. Right, so this is the actual bracket. It was announced during the show. So round 1, we have Death Triangle versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. I said their name right. Check me out. We also have Andrade El Idolo, Dragon Lee and Roosh versus the Young Bucks and a mystery opponent. We'll come to that. House of Black versus the Dark Order. I suppose we'll come to that as well. And we have the Trust Busters, brilliant name, who are you going to call that? Certainly no fucking them, versus the Best Friends as the 4th match in this 8-team tournament. So, we have multiple talking points about this trios tournament, I think, with trios teams involved. Do we want to talk about the good, the bad, or the for fuck's sake why first?
Fuck's sake, why?
Fuck's sake, why would be the Trust Busters. Who are you going to call? So this week of TV, we had the Trust Busters getting their wee bit of shine on Dynamite, and then they were all over Rampage. So Trust Busters, if you didn't know, is the faction led by Ari Daivari, formerly of WWE. He has, in kayfabe, come into a wee bit of money and has decided to put himself together a team. I'm not clear on what's happened. Has he bought these people as part of his team, or have they just turned up because he's rich?
So what they seem to be doing is trading very dangerously close to Pinnacle territory. They've got Ari Daivari, who supposedly his trust has came in. He's now the richest man in wrestling, right? That's the part. So he's employing these other wrestlers to be in his team. That's what they're going with.
Slim J and Parker.
And I mean, of all the dear God, like, was there nobody else available? Like, don't get me wrong, right? I love Slim J, right? He's great, but Ring of Honor, all the way Ring of Honor. That's not an AEW guy, right? Parker Boudreaux, so much potential. He's not ready for AEW. Put him in Ring of Honor. Well, he's been announced as All Elite, by the way, right?
Oh, he has. He got the
posters
All
are out
Elite
there.
graphic. Yeah, he got it.
Graphics are done. Like which I'm a bit miffed at. Like I'm thinking, no miffed, that's the wrong word, but like he's got the potential. In a couple of years, definitely bring him up to the big show. But in my mind, he should be big monster for Ring of Honor for a bit.
Yes, agreed.
But aye, that is what it is. And now Sonny Kiss, randomly.
Aye, I mean, again,
Such a
the internet
licorice
have
all
been
sorts.
shouting for Sonny Kiss to be on TV, and they get put on TV and murdered by Parker Boudreaux in 2 minutes.
It's probably worth noting quickly, right, that the match with Parker Boudreaux and Sonny Kiss, that's effectively the 4th match in AEW for Parker Boudreaux. He's had 2 singles matches and a tag match, a trios tag match on Across Dark and Dark Elevation in the last couple of weeks. The last match, the one that was a trios tag, had Sonny Kiss leading a team of jobbers versus the Trustbusters, as they were. Then, towards the end of the match, Ari Daivari has a word with Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss then steps aside and refuses to take tags. And then Parker Boudreaux murders whatever jobber it was. I can't remember if it was jobber 1 or jobber 2. Trustbusters win the match. Sonny Kiss looks all smug. Looks like potentially they're joining up with Trustbusters. We get to Rampage. So, Dynamite, they announced that, like, they did a bit with the best friends, and they announced that Parker Boudreaux is going to take on Sonny Kiss, and Ari Daivari's taking on Orange Cassidy. So for a kick-off, the match didn't make any sense. So, like, there's been this deal made between Ari Daivari and Sonny Kiss, and now all of a sudden Parker Boudreaux and Sonny Kiss is a thing. Like, why is that match happening? Then later on, after Parker Boudreaux murders Sonny Kiss for reasons, and then in the Orange and Daivari match, then Sonny Kiss comes out and gets involved and is now part of Trustbusters. Like, it's very odd.
I mean, if that sounded confusing to you, ladies and gentlemen, it's because it very much is.
Aye. It's so weird.
It's
I think the Sonny Kiss thing, like, the only way I can make sense of it is that Ari Daivari said to Orange before their match that if Orange lies down and takes the pin, then he can join up with him. So my thinking is the match was organised between Sonny Kiss and Parker Boudreaux as an initiation for Sonny Kiss. But then the match played out as a match. Like, there was no lying down and taking a pin, so that doesn't I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
So many
really.
whys.
Aye, an incredible amount of whys. A lot of silly booking round about what is potentially, like you say, a very good young kind of heavyweight wrestler. I mean, does he look fantastic in the ring, Parker Boudreaux? No, he doesn't, because he's still very new to the business. But I mean, you cannot deny how physically impressive a specimen that boy is. He is a legit 300-pound wrestler at 6'4", just like Brock Lesnar.
Aye.
And his build is so exactly the same as Brock Lesnar. It's ridiculous.
He's a Brock Lesnar with the baby fat still on him.
Aye, that is literally it. He's just a bit baby fat still because he's just a really young man. He's a monster. He's an absolute giant boy.
His turn of speed is frightening. See the way he charges into the corner when he's...
Holy Jesus. The speed he can generate for the size he is
his moveset is quite basic. His finisher is god-awful.
Aye, the backdrop kind of twist into a slam into it.
Aye.
Like, twisting backdrops, that thing. I mean, I don't mind that.
It's terrible.
By the by, for me, it's using his weight to kind of throw somebody into the mat super hard. Like, I get the kind of mechanics of it.
Okay, there's a certain amount of logic to why it would suck, but...
Aye, I mean, that's the way I look at it. It would be shite, because that is a big, huge man thumping you into the mat with all his weight, like...
I don't know, it's not for me. But anyway.
I know, I get how you maybe know he's impressive.
Like, he's got a ways to go is the point, but he has all the physical potential, man.
Yeah.
What a monster.
It's just I've recollection of watching these dark tapings with Ari Davari where the small crowd there are chanting "shut the fuck up" at him while he's talking, or "we don't care," which is probably worse actually when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
"We don't care" is probably worse. Like,
Aye.
that kind of tells you how interested. Whatever, man. It's my.
He's not the worst heel, but
please send them into Ring of Honor.
Aye, it's Ring of Honor territory, definitely for me. But I don't know, maybe Parker Boudreaux's just been announced as all elite because like Tony Khan wants to stamp his authority on that. Like that's a ball that's been dropped by the WWE and Vince McMahon's cronies. So Tony Khan's like he's staking that that's his talent now, kind of thing.
There was definitely an interest from All Elite originally because I remember JR talking up Parker Boudreaux ages ago about the potential of him.
Right.
Like, because that was when he was a college defensive lineman.
Okay.
And he was getting the comparisons to Brock Lesnar, the look of him and all that.
Aye.
Like, and he had less tattoos then as well. So he was getting all the kind of love and all the kind of part for JR then, who was obviously trying to kind of say, oh, we would love to sign Parker Boudreaux.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely worth a look at. And he chose WWE obviously because WWE is, as we all know, they're still the name. Aye, exactly. Money, money, money. But not just that, the name. They are the name. They're synonymous with wrestling. Absolutely. So you get why he chooses that decision to go to WWE. It's just obviously it's not really worked out for him there with the change in how NXT's run. Like where he's got his hair shaved off, he's wearing a jumpsuit, he's looking like an absolute creep.
Mm-hmm.
He looks more the business now with his shorts and the icon. Like he looks imposing like he should do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how it goes with the experiment with him. Will he be a top
do you know
talent?
The most annoying thing about all that? The fact that the best friends are getting shafted.
Like
they looked so strong coming off the last pay-per-view in Orange having the match with Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Like they seemed like they're getting taken seriously, they're getting their push. Cassidy, like he's getting moved up the card now, like that man is a star. And then they do the match with Wardlow and it's just like, oh, the timing is so off and that is shocking.
Aye.
And then their booking just takes an absolute nosedive for a couple of weeks and now they're working with the Trustbusters for reasons.
Well, I mean, again, I'm looking at the bracket of the tournament. I don't see how it's going to be the best friends in the semi-final. I think Trustbusters will probably win.
So how does it actually... I've not looked at it
So
properly.
Trustbusters versus best friends will play, as they say in football, House of Black or the Dark Order.
Right, okay.
So I have the feeling it's going to be the Dark Order versus the Elite in the final. That's what I think is the possibility. I also think the Elite will face Will Ospreay and Aussie Open in the semi-final because I think if the rumours are to be believed, and I mean it's going to be a high possibility that Young Bucks will have a returning Kenny Omega.
Question.
And Kenny Omega.
Question. So wait, hold on. I might have missed something. Is the Undisputed Elite no in this tournament?
No, they're not. No.
So Adam Cole's still not been cleared.
Adam Cole's still not been cleared.
Oh,
so there's still no Adam Cole yet.
Everything.
Yeah, no Adam Cole. No.
I just assumed
Kyle
they were
O'Reilly,
part of this.
no Bobby Fish. Nope.
Wow.
It is the Young Bucks and a mystery third man.
You've got to think it's Dark Order in the final, then, aye?
Aye, obviously, to move on to the kind of better bit of the week's kind of talk on the trios, we had the Young Bucks trying to obviously they finally apologised to Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
Good wee bit of kind of story telling, furthering on that whole sort of long term sort of story that is the Elite. Like that. I also liked that Hangman said no as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got his guys who have kind of stuck with him all thick and thin all the way through, and now he's given them the chance to be the main kind of draw.
Yeah.
Like he's quite happy to sit at the back. Like that. It fits with Hangman's character.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. So I would wager that the Dark Order go all the way to the final, I think. But obviously with the Young Bucks with the mystery partner, the assumption is that it's a returning Kenny Omega this week, coming tonight.
I don't know if you've read through it or what, right? But I did a bit of fantasy booking in my group chat the other day.
Come on, hit it up.
Right.
I wanted to leave this for the show, to be honest, so that you could kind of
Right, well, see, it's deed in the water because the Undisputed Elite isn't in the trios tournament.
Oh, right.
That was the main. That was the main part of the booking.
That was the main point.
So basically, like to kind of dissect it a wee bit, my thinking was that in terms of all the different stories that's been told, the thing that makes the most sense to me is that you build up the kind of mixed relationships between Dark Order, Hangman, Bucks, and Omega. And then you have the Undisputed Elite playing off of that, and the fact that the Bucks are now face, so Omega's probably going to come back face along and be along with him. So basically, my fantasy booking, to run through it quickly, was that the Bucks obviously need their partner. The surprise partner is Omega, but he comes back as a babyface version of the Cleaner gimmick. And he's there to clean out the Undisputed Elite and clean up the mess that's kind of been left with him being away for a while. Then throughout the tag tournament, you get different, through matches and then through backstage stuff, you get different looks at the Dark Order, getting more and more miffed at how Hangman's like hanging out with the Bucks, and those signs showing that Hangman's willing to forgive Omega and Omega's willing to forgive Hangman. They might kind of reunite, and the Dark Order's getting more and more miffed. Then basically the Dark Order lose their semi-final match to the Undisputed Elite, or the Elite, could be either one. The final ends up being the Elite versus the Undisputed Elite. The Dark Order interfere, confirming that they're turning heel, and Hangman at this point now sides with the Elite. He comes down and makes the save after the match. So my booking was that the Undisputed Elite are the inaugural champs, and the Elite, being the Bucks and Kenny Omega, they lose and are getting a kicking off the Undisputed Elite and the Dark Order, who have now turned heel, and it's Hangman Page that comes out to make the save, and he reunites then with the rest of the Elite, being the Bucks and Omega. So that was my booking. But now that's totally in the water, because Undisputed Elite can't take part. So
no.
I still think that the way to go is to turn the Dark Order heel and to use the relationship between Hangman and the Bucks specifically, but then also a returning Kenny Omega, because we're assuming that he's returning now, and to use their relationships to force the heel turn makes the Dark Order a lot more interesting again, and it allows it gives a good sort of theatrical story reason for Hangman to come away from them and to join up with the Elite. Because if you've got Babyface Elite and Hangman wants to join up with them, then it makes sense that Babyface Dark Order are going to stay friends with everybody, and it's just one big happy family. So you need to draw a line somewhere, and I think the way you draw the line is by turning the Dark Order.
Possibly. I mean, I'm curious as to how it all turns out. One thing I'm looking forward to is a potential Will Ospreay and Aussie Open match with Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, potentially.
Aye, so their first round is the Death Triangle, right? Which is obviously that's going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And then that leads into the winner of who?
Young Bucks and question, or the Los Faction and Goba Mables.
Aye.
So that's Andrade, Dragon Lee, and Rush.
Which, side note, why Dragon Lee, no Bandito? What's going on there? Is that just contracts?
Well, see, Bandito obviously was Ring of Honor, but he doesn't seem to be kind of in the shout for All Elite at all. But
that's weird.
Dragon Lee will be great. Dragon Lee will be awesome.
I mean, it's one ace for another kind of thing, but it's a bit of a shame there. Like there's more interest, I think, if it's Bandito. But anyway, so Dragon I mean, fun matches all around, but you wonder how they book it. That'll go.
Yep. I mean, it's open. That's one thing. Just the only downside is that Trustbusters shit. Really, I can't get around how bloody unwatchable it was on Rampage.
If it seems like they should be in there as a bit of a squash match for somebody, they should be the joke or something. But I don't think they're going to be.
Let Parker run wild, and then one of the others takes the pin.
Aye,
like that.
It'll be Slim J lately.
Aye. I mean, Slim J's go, I'm getting pinned written all him with that upside down hat, man.
he is like the forgotten member of the Too Cool. Rikishi and Scotty 240 and
it's some gear he's going, man, isn't it? Aye. All he needs is a dance break in the middle of a match.
He's such a throwback, but I mean, he's brilliant. His matches are always really fun. He's really good.
I mean, there's a lot of kind of talk about how he's such an important wrestler. He's a kind of move innovator.
He is. He's somebody. He was in Ring of Honor for a long time, and he's bounced about the Indies, I believe, since he kind of stopped wrestling with them so much. But his style is just like so kind of early to mid 2000. Like it's interesting. I don't know. I always got a laugh watching him, but. I don't see him being a big feature in AEW. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's there. He's there effectively. Rampage in general, though, lads. I mean, did it feel like AEW dark again?
Aye.
Wasn't it? Just as such a kind of afterthought feel. What were you going to say there, Harvey?
I was going to ask who do you think is going to be there in the trios with the Young Bucks?
Oh, Kenny Omega.
Going to join?
It is Kenny Omega. I'm certain it's a fit again, Kenny Omega, and it'll be the path of banger matches all the way, especially with Will Ospreay and Aussie Open against the three of them will be brilliant. With the kind of Omega was on Fightful during the last kind of couple of months, wasn't he there, where he was talking about how Will Ospreay's he's great and all that, but it's no memorable.
That's right.
Like, it's great putting in 5-star matches, but who's talking about them? Like,
yep.
And Sean Ross was saying, fine what these comments will do. This is the headline of this interview. Like, and he's like, oh, no. And then he kind of did the whole sort of passive aggressive sort of, oh, no. I mean, Will's brilliant. And then Will Ospreay did the T-shirt with the one-winged angel and get hit with the cease and desist. So they're kind of they're planting the seeds.
He also did the spot in his match in Rev Pro where he hit a one-winged angel. But even more hilarious is that he lifted the guy's shoulder off the mat. He made him. He made him
brilliant.
Kick it. It's just genius heelishness, man.
It was because he's gone, no, oh my god. That's right, and finished the boy with the elbow strikes, didn't he? It was outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
So that'll be really interesting if that's the match, man. If that's what they do. I'd be very interested to see how well they work together. Because I honestly can't tell how much is kayfabe. I can't tell how much they actually hate each other. I don't.
Oh, there's definitely a bit of professional rivalry.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. So there is.
Interesting point, actually, leading into the return of Omega. I don't know if he came across this on social media and whatnot. Will Ospreay is now the most. Will Ospreay now has the most 5-star matches of any non-Japanese talent.
Oh, right, in Meltzer's kind of match rating scale. That's right, after the Shingo match.
Omega has 19 total 5-star matches and Ospreay now has 20.
That's going to be another one of the...
That's going to be part of it.
Yeah. I mean, just all these wee bits add up. That's one thing I do love. Like the potential of that match in today's wrestling world is very high. Even if they personally don't like one another, like it's going to happen.
Aye.
Like
I hope that they do meet in this tournament and then they use that, because obviously there's all the stuff that's happened on social media and whatnot. So then this is now the kayfabe. This is the thing that's happening on the show. Then let that build and down the line we get the big match between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This could be the catalyst for that.
Yep.
No, that would be
Could be tremendous. So well, look at. I mean, obviously, this is another one of these themed dynamites coming up this week. Tonight, as we're talking right now, in association with the launch of this new HBO show, House of the Dragon, the Game of the Game of Thrones sort of prequel into it, I think would be the right way to say it. Or spin-off.
Prequel, aye.
Prequel
Pish,
slash.
that's what I've got.
Pish, aye. I mean, I'm like you. I'm not ready to forgive Game of Thrones.
Honestly, man, aye. Game of Thrones, I think I watched about 2 episodes. I was like, fucking shit.
So you don't even know? Oh, mate. You don't even know. I mean, I watched it all. It was great.
What's the fella
Actually,
that wrote the books? Is it J.R.R. Martin or something?
George R.R. Martin, the guy that goes dear. Conley South Park. Loves wieners. Floppy wiener. But back to my point. It's another one of these themed episodes. So something big's obviously going to happen, and already announced we've got the 2 out of 3 fall match between Garcia and Danielson. We've got a tag match.
We need to talk about that when we get there.
We'll get to it. Don't worry. We've got a tag match between the Gun Club and Pillman and Garrison, and obviously we've got the start of the trios matches.
Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Garrison. It's not Mr. Head. It's a 2-on-3 match. Mr. Head, get him. Body slam him. Right. Fuck, what am I doing? Right. So, Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson, 2 out of 3 falls.
Aye.
We have.
That's got to be interesting. I mean, the whole thing that happened on Rampage.
But the only thing worth watching on Rampage, incidentally.
I was going to say, it was the only decent thing on Rampage.
Probably where you could have put Rampage off and missed nothing really after that. Was Danielson and Garcia.
I found that really interesting. Obviously, Danielson, he kind of muffled his words at the end, but still, we got the point, right? Do you want to be the world's best technical
sports entertainer?
Entertainer, or the world's best technical wrestler? Do you know what I mean? So it's setting up that. Who was it that said about that? I think actually, 2 years did, but I think Paul, you were brung it up about Garcia eventually ending up in
so since the formation of Blackpool Combat Club, we've been talking it up, man. And Garcia was the first name mentioned by Danielson when he was doing his first promo on it.
Yeah.
So the chats, especially for Paul, was I being like Garcia's the man to implode the Jericho Appreciation Society as he leaves.
First man to jump off.
Right.
Yeah.
As he leaves,
It seems like they're leading us in that direction, but I get the feeling that it's just hints now. It's long term stuff. I don't think anything happens yet.
We more planting the seed, I believe, would be the way.
I think they want to make sure everybody that maybe missed it the first time round is aware that backstory is a thing, that Danielson wanted Garcia originally.
He was his
and
first
he's went with Jericho.
Yep.
Aye.
I'm looking forward to the lads. I've got to say.
Aye.
It gives the opportunity for 2 falls to Garcia, 2 falls to Danielson. That's how it'll play out. That's why in my head it'll work.
So
Danielson will win 2-1, but with that Garcia still has 2 pinfalls over Danielson, or 2 tap outs.
2 victories, effectively. It'll be 2 pins.
Yeah.
But, I don't love it. I'm yet to be convinced by it all. I would much rather this was really putting Garcia over, showing how good he is, and then this is like the moment where he breaks away, and whether he joins Blackpool Combat Club or just goes out on his own, whatever, you know what I mean? But like that, I think what it's going to do is just continue on. I don't think there's going to be any finality for it. And I think if anything, potentially they'll find a way to have Jericho get involved, and potentially then we've got Danielson and Jericho at the pay-per-view, which seems to be something that there's chat about.
I noticed that seems to be getting picked up as the kind of chat for that. You wonder if that's leading towards a custody of Daniel Garcia match though. I feel like that's might be, I mean, I'm joking about that, but I feel like that's where it's going.
I can just see the Who's Your Pappy t-shirts.
Taking a leaf out of...
Aye. It's like the Dominic Mysterio part, is it? It's wee Daniel with his battles bunnet.
Taking a leaf out of the old...
By the way, see when that's come up, have you seen the meme about Dominic Mysterio?
No,
Right,
what?
so somebody took a picture of like a kind of up-to-date picture of Dominic Mysterio, who's he sports a mullet these days, right? And then a
Aye.
picture of Eddie Guerrero back in the day when he had a proper mullet. and it's like great to see that you've turned out just like your pappy or something like that. I can't remember what the words were, but
It's funny when you think about that, how he does actually sport the mullet just like Eddie Guerrero. Thank you, Dave. That is quite funny how that's how it's went.
but Christ, what were we talking? Oh, right, aye. So that I don't
What were you
I
even
don't know
talking
how
about?
I don't know how they do this and no make it shite. It is my like. I mean, match wise, I think it'll be quality, right? But in terms of the story and the booking and all that, I don't know how they do this. I'm like me personally, I'm not interested.
Aye, that's fair enough. You're not that keen on it. I've got to say, I am massively looking forward to these two. Putting a
I think it's just again it's missed timing. I don't think it's the right time for the two to be having this feud. Possibly they've had that first match and that sets up something that happens in a few months' time, maybe. But that would have made more sense. But to go right into 2 or 3 falls for me is no the right move.
It's just It's just Danielson. Danielson just loves working with these shooters. Man.
Aye.
He's just wanting to work with these technical boys.
Yep.
That is his dream. Totally and utterly, he is living his best life working with these wee guys that are just like him when he was younger.
Yep. I want to see the back of this extended feud. Like, I don't care if the JAS hangs about for a bit longer. Like that's the story left there to have other feuds and stuff. But I think for where we're at now, like we need a break for them. We need Jericho and his crew to go on a wee hiatus for a few weeks and.
There's a wee change
something
in the
different.
feuds needing to happen. Yeah, absolutely needing a wee bit of a kind of a change in tack, as it were. I'm sure that'll come. That'll come. Well, lads, I mean, as far as it goes with this week, I think we've kind of chatted about all the kind of stuff that really needed chatting about. Mick's got his horn.
Something that needs talked about. The women's division.
Oh no, next week. Next week, get them to hell.
No, right. No, the match wise, right? No match wise. I'm not going to dig into any matches, right? But just very quickly, there seems to have been chat that Tony Khan had seen the light with Chris Statlander, and she was going to get the big push, and potentially she was the next champ. Like, no, even TBS, next women's champ.
Yeah, that's
and in a match on Dark, she's blew her knee out, and she's going to be out for however many months.
Bloody shame. Yeah, she's done her other knee in now. Basically.
Aye, the one that she didn't have the brace on is now gubbed.
Yeah.
I'll
give you that.
She hit a big boot, but she was stretching with it, and when she came down on the leg, so it was like her good leg that she kicked with, and she came down and she was like almost in the splits. She was too stretched out, and her knees gave way. I watched the match, and when I saw it, I was, oh no, that's her knee, because they finished the match really quick after it. I was like, oh no, that's legit, man. She's just done her knee, and then sure as fuck, like 2 days later they announced it.
That's an absolute shame.
So it now leaves us with potentially the rushed implosion of Thunderstorm, because they did that mad backstage thing with well, Tony Storm, it looks like you're the new number 1 contender. What do you think of that? I know that.
I mean, I suppose you just have to have a match. Oh, just no, get it away from me. I'm not interested.
I'll leave it there.
Oh, just. And mad at the bloody we're leaving it in a happy note here, lads. All right, there were women's matches. You may check them out if you want. There are always women's matches. That's kind of the point I'm making. Nothing really happens. The end. So, lads, at least tonight we have an exciting card ahead of us. I'm saying that on the trust that we'll release on Wednesday, which I'm sure we will. We have an exciting lot of matches to watch tonight. Can't wait to be sitting here next week discussing them. Should be fun.
I was legit like, wait, there's a wrestler on the night.
I was fabing it in, brother. I was fabing it. I was hitting the fabe. Hitting the kayfabe.
This week, is it?
Shame for you tonight. I was hitting the kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Brother, the kayfabe. Protect the business at all costs. Fucked it. Totally fucked it. Anyway, as always, we're followed. I believe this week we're actually followed by football match. Footy match.
Soccer match.
Footy match. Soccer match. Cut all that. This week we are followed by Soccer Mash, funnily enough. We've got a lot of football talk. F1 is on a break, just like we had our wee break. Previously we've got MMA Mash and a whole load of fighting to catch up on after our break. So we break that down in great detail as always, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good week. We'll see you next week, obviously. Well, we'll see you tomorrow if you want to listen to Soccer Mash, obviously. We'll see you at some point. But in fact, we'll not even see. You can hear us.
Get us in about your lugs.
Hear us.
Get us in about your ears. If you want to see as well. Tough. We're not there yet.
Even if I swatch at the website.
Bye, driver. Aye, smash it. Aye, the pictures are in there.
Have you scratch?
Have a wee swatch. That being said, we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye, driver.
Bye-bye.
That's a driver.